day up and chimping, they're finna chimp out. Hip-hop and pimping, they'll shift you for crowds. Going to get triggered if nigger you shout. See how they always chimp it out. Then Chudification said stop lying down. Don't let them kill you and take all your town. They'll slice your sister, then walk cause they brown. See how they always chimp it out. Don't got much reason and a frontal cortex. Your mother is next. You resist, you're racist. In California, they're welfaring around. See how they always chimping out. It ain't no colors that's defining use. We're all just fellas, we all get to blues. It ain't black versus white, we've been divided by Jews. Oy vey, they show us Schwarzen outs. Just see Calergy cackle with glee. Your family trees, leaves grow, Negro. Now California's spreading around. See how they always, see how they always, see how they always chimping out.
What is up, fellas, and welcome to another episode of PolitiGoob with me, the Goob. I see, Kilu, new streamer. I've been on here a few times. I wasn't on here the last 2 weeks. One of those weeks was because of technical issues with the site, but I did a great episode about how to identify and combat psyops aimed at the right. You can check out my previous streams. I've been streaming for 8 months now on politics on YouTube. Go to YouTube_the Goob. You can find me there if you want to catch up on any of the old videos. This week I am going to be, shout out Foundring. Great guy, great music, very, very fun music. He's getting banned from everywhere right now, but his songs are all equally as fun. Check him out if you're not familiar with him. This week I'm going to be talking about a lot of things. One of the main things that I'm going to be trying to dispel is this notion that if you just keep your head down, what happened to Chud is because Chud is a racist retard, and of course that's going to happen to Chud, but nothing like that could ever happen to me. And so I'm going to try and dispel that delusion, because the Chudification of America is inevitable. We are all Chud. What is happening to Chud, what happened to Henry Novak, it's coming for us all unless we stop it. Before I get into that, though, I do want to talk a little bit about getting people to where we're at, right? Getting people onto our level. And so I would love it if you recommend my stream to other people. If you can shout me out, that's great. But I'm a hard sell. One, I'm talking to the people who already get it. I'm not focusing on bringing people to the right. I'm focusing on talking to the people who already understand and trying to give them actionable things that they can actually go do in the real world to make a difference. So, it's a hard sell to recommend someone like me. But for your semi-normie friends, right, not the people who are lost to woke, those are lost causes, but the people who maybe can get it, but they don't get it yet, I think the two best people that I can think of are Tim Dillon and Fleckus Talks. And that might seem a little bit odd. I know Tim Dillon is not a hardcore right-winger by any stretch of the imagination, and he is an obese gay comedian, right? But he does have a very unique talent for cutting through the bullshit. He is a genius at taking the insanity of our world today and highlighting just how insane it is, and doing so in a way that a normie can actually understand, right? So if you do have normie friends, maybe have them check out Tim Dillon. maybe get them a little bit closer to our side, maybe get them to recognize just how off the rails this country has gone, how every Western nation has gone. I think he does have a unique ability to break through some of that programming, a lot of that programming that the normies are afflicted by. So Tim Dillon's my first recommendation, and then Fleckus Talks. He's also on YouTube. Both of these people are big channels on YouTube. Fleckus Talks is a bit more openly racist, right? But he's not exactly extreme. It's also another fairly normie-friendly show. And I think he's also one of the only like mainstream normie-friendly shows that mentioned Chud and mentioned him in a positive light. He didn't say a lot, but they at least did mention him, and I think recommended people shouted out his Give, Send, Go. So Fleckus Talks and Tim Dillon, rather than wasting, however many hours trying to convince them yourself with arguments that probably aren't going to be as convincing as the ones put forward by Tim Dillon and Fleckus Talks, shout out those people, get your normie friends watching those people, and then continue bringing them to the right side. But those are my recommendations. And I do want to start as well with just some white pills. There's so much negativity. My intention is never to black pill anyone. I think it's important to understand the harsh reality that we're facing, but to not get discouraged, to not get black pilled. So I want to start with some white pills. So I've got a couple of those collected here as we get also on the other side I'm streaming on, which I just showed. I'm still struggling. Like, this wasn't the title that I intended. I'm still having a little bit of a difficult time getting that site to work properly. So if anyone, wants to be nice and offer a helping hand, hit me up. Help me out. But the Sikh murderer Digwa, the guy who stabbed Henry Novak, has been attacked at HMP Amley. A boiling kettle with sugar was thrown at his face, and he has now been treated at the prison hospital. A little bit of good news, a little bit of the required energy that we actually need. It's a beautiful thing to see. This is the type of thing we need more of. These demons must face consequences. As well, this is Albania, right? So a bit separated from America, but love the energy here. They're going on a week straight of these protests because the Albanian leaders basically trying to sell Albania to Israel, and the Albanians are not having it. Look at these crowds here. Look at how beautiful that is. Thousands, maybe millions of people in Albania showing that they are not going to tolerate this stuff. This is what we need to see more of. We need to bring that energy to America. We need to bring it to England, to all of these Western nations. But just look at that. That's so beautiful to see. Stand together. It is absolutely time for tribalism. It is absolutely time to find your team, find the people who you can fight alongside, who will fight alongside you. Tribe up, team up, carry this energy over here into America. We need a hell of a lot more of that. England's showing some good energy. Look at all those flags. Look at all those people. Beautiful sight to see. It's going to take a little bit more than just marching, right? But this is a damn good start, is it not? Is that not a beautiful thing to see? And that's not the only thing the English are doing. They're getting active. No more bootlicking. The cops are not your friend. They are your enemy. They are part of the system that is working to kill you and displace you and replace you. Love to see the energy. Absolutely love it. And I'm going to talk about this in more detail and this relates to the PSYOP episode, which, in fact, let me take a moment to just summarize very briefly how you can tell when it's a PSYOP aimed at the right. Is the messaging trying to convince you to be inactive? Are they trying to convince you that in order to win, you have to do nothing or to even help your enemy win, accelerationism? Are they trying to convince you that your warriors, the people fighting for you, like Chud, are actually your enemy and you need to condemn them? Are they trying to create paranoia where everyone who organizes on the right, Patriot Front and every other group, they're all feds, and if you join them, you're a fed and you're working against, the right? All of the right-wing psyops, all of these psyops aimed at the right wing have one goal, which is to prevent action, to keep you in a state of inaction. The easiest way to identify a psyop is if they are trying to convince you the way to win is by doing nothing. And the reason we haven't won is because we just haven't done nothing yet hard enough yet. Or we haven't condemned the people who are actually fighting for our side hard enough yet. Those are the psyops. And the biggest of all of these psyops, the most glaring of all of these psyops, is the Jewish psyop to convince right-wingers that Christians are their enemy. Most of those people in that video right there are Christians. Now, there obviously is a problem with Christian Zionism, and you obviously should be calling out and critiquing and fighting back against Christian Zionism. But the idea that every Christian is your enemy, that Christianity itself is your enemy, is one of the biggest psyops ever pulled on the right. Chud, the builder, of course, is a devout Christian. He's talked frequently about how his Christianity is what gives him strength to keep fighting, right? The idea that Christians are your enemy is about the same idea as like looking at woke white people and going, look at all of those woke white people. Those are our enemy. So that means that all white people are the enemy of white people. We have to destroy white people in order to save white people. It's the same level of logic. It's completely retarded, and it is a psyop. Do not make enemies of your allies. Christians are our allies, and of course the Christian Zionists are a thorn. But just like the woke whites, you don't turn around and condemn every single white person and label them your enemy because some of them are woke. But that idea of Chud drawing strength from Christianity, you don't even have to look at Christianity to understand this mindset and how powerful it is. You can look at Odysseus or any of like the ancient Greek stories, ancient Roman stories of where they're heroes. They all have the exact same mentality. They view all of the horrible things that they experience as a test from their gods, a test for them to overcome, right? And there is something incredibly powerful in having that mindset rather than being a victim. Oh, this horrible thing happened to me and I'm a victim and woe is me and I am suffering now. This is a test for me to overcome. This is a test to prove my strength. This is a test so that on the other side of this, I am an even better, stronger version of myself. Having that mentality is incredibly powerful. You can draw from it from Christianity. You can draw from it from paganism, or you can just be an individual and draw from it from yourself and recognize that these hardships that the world is throwing at you, they are tests for you to overcome, not for you to give into, not for you to wallow in pity, but for you to grow and become stronger from them. Some more continuing with the white pills here. The Brits, they're getting fed up. They're showing up in the street. It's beautiful to see. All these people, they're done. They're done licking the boots of the cops that want them dead. They're done accepting this tyranny. They're having enough. It's a beautiful sight to see. And again, marching is not enough. Just marching doesn't accomplish anything. You have to collectivize, and you have to be willing and able to punish your enemies when they choose to ignore you anyways. So marching alone will not accomplish anything, but marching along with this kind of energy, it's pretty good. Throwing some wheelie bins. Having a little fun. Joining in a little mischief. And then when the cops and the politicians complain about this, I loved the energy of the Brits. The cops showing up to Henry Novak saying, "I don't think you have, mate," when he told him he was stabbed. "Don't think you have been, mate." The politicians are like, "This is unacceptable." They're throwing wheelie bins at the cops. And the Brits just went, I don't think you did, mate. I don't think that happened, mate." So it is beautiful to see this kind of energy. It's long overdue. It is so long overdue, but it's good to finally start seeing it. We need a hell of a lot more of it. And just another angle from the same scene. Fun times. Beautiful sight. Those cops that arrested Henry Novak, they're not gonna stop trying to kill you and take away your rights because you ask them nicely. This is the kind of shit that might actually get them to stop, but a polite conversation isn't going to do anything. And this is a protest outside of the family of the Digwa murderer. Because if you didn't know, they dragged him back to their house where he died right in front of their property. So they're protesting at the site of the murder here, and they're demanding that family get the fuck out. The whole family was a party to that murder. The whole family participated. They need to be driven the fuck out of this country. The UK, right? And it's absolutely beautiful to see. They're not going to leave because you asked them nicely. The cops aren't going to arrest them because you asked them nicely, right? Pressure. Apply pressure. Apply pressure. And again, marching doesn't do anything on its own. But here we got some youths participating in a little mischief. The cops kill an innocent white man and try to smear him as a racist and the problem in his own murder. Maybe you get a couple Molotovs chucked at your vehicles. It's just consequences of actions. And again, this isn't a march. This isn't organized. This is just some good men dealing with a bad one. You've got a problem in your streets. This is how you solve it. There were 2 stabbings in the last week on either North Carolina, I think South Carolina trains. 2 white women stabbed, one of them dead. If more men like this were around taking actions like this, we would have a hell of a lot less of that happening. It's a beautiful sight to see. And, you know, going back to the PSYOP thing a little bit, like, so many people have a problem with Jake Lang. So many people, he's a provocateur. He's out there causing problems. He's out there making things worse because he's burning Qurans. He's burning gay pride flags. I don't know if you are aware of this, but there are millions of people in America and all of these Western countries who want you dead, who want to replace you, take everything you own, and kill you. You're not going to change that by having a reasonable debate with them or exchanging some polite words. If this is too extreme for you, how do you think we solve this problem? There's 4 million Muslims in America, which, by the way, I don't believe that number for a second. I think it's way fucking more than that. But there's 4 million Muslims in America who are openly talking about how they are here to turn America into an Islamic state, to bring Sharia law, to replace you, to murder the non-believers, to wage jihad. If this is too extreme, if burning the Quran is too extreme, how do you expect to solve this problem? Is it with more Charlie Kirks, more debate? Because that worked really well. What do you think actually needs to be done to solve these issues if this is too extreme? If Chud the Builder is a retard who deserved what he got because he was out there saying the naughty nigger word. We not only need this, we need millions more to be like this. There's Jake Lang. This is a fun video. Following in Chud's footsteps. Where's the sound? There it is. So that guy screaming in Jake's face that only exists because Jake is there, right? That wouldn't be happening. That guy wouldn't exist. He wouldn't be. It's Jake causing these problems, right? And Jake's the problem, and we need someone to just go have a calm conversation with him to change that guy who wants you dead because you are a white male. You just haven't had a patient enough conversation with him? Is that truly what you believe? Is that truly what you believe? Because if so, you're fucking retarded. You're not going to convince people who want you dead to no longer want you dead because you had a polite conversation with them. It doesn't work that way.
I'm gonna push you if I get close enough. Push you right into that crack. You heard what I said, cracker. Neanderthal, I don't give a fuck what you say. Y'all get up, you cracker. Fuck you, nigga. Fuck you. Get out of the road. Let's get out of the road, please.
Fuck you, cracker. The only good cracker's a dead cracker. Yada, yada, yada. I'm sure that guy is only doing that because those extremists out there were holding a flag. They're the ones causing this problem. It's their fault for being out there holding a flag, not this guy. And the way to bring this guy who openly wants you dead because you're white to your side is to go ask him politely. Maybe inform him, hey, sir, that's not very nice of you. Could you please stop wishing death upon all white people? It is a delusion. We need more activism, not less. We need more extremism, not less.
Do you think it's a problem to allow...
In my old streams, I talked quite at length about this idea of the sweet old lady down the street, specifically when the DA for Virginia was up for election, and the Democrat DA, who was facing off against a Republican incumbent, someone who was involved in no scandals, who, wasn't even accused of being racist or anything like that, was like a normal, fine DA. His Democrat opponent was openly advocating for the murder of his children, his white children, because his white children might be raised to be little Nazis and they could grow up to be little Hitlers. And he made it very clear this was not a joke, this was not hyperbole. He actually meant what he said, that he wanted those white children, those innocent white children, to be dead so they don't grow up to be Nazis. He won, by the way, that Democrat DA won the election. And I was talking about, the sweet old lady down the street from you who maybe voted for that Democrat because she's just misguided. She's not evil. She's a sweet old lady, right? And you have to have sympathy for her, and you can't treat her like the evil that she is, because she just doesn't understand, and she just mistakenly thinks that a normal, average, everyday Republican is worse, is more evil, is more disgusting than someone who openly wants to kill white children so they don't grow up to be Nazis. Because the truth is, she also believes that those white children might grow up to be Nazis, and she wants them dead too. These people want you dead, and you cannot keep using the excuse of good intentions or, they're just misguided or anything like that. They are evil, and you need to treat them openly like the evil, demonic people that they are. They are agents of Satan. They live in an inverted reality where up is down, black is white, good is evil. And it doesn't matter that they're hiding behind their virtue signaling and they have good intentions. Let's take a listen to this clip right here. Give you an idea. This is evil. This old lady, this is what evil looks like.
Male sex offenders into female prisons. Did you know right now male sex offenders are allowed in female prisons?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, do you support that?
Yes.
Do you support male sex offenders going into female prisons if they identify as trans? Yes. Okay. Do you support our state spending $4.5 million to transition those sex offenders?
One, it's not that high.
We just Freedom of Information Acted it. We're spending $4.5 million.
Does not mean what you are representing.
We are spending $600,000 on SRS for prisoners, sex offenders. We're spending $600,000 on move jobs for sex offenders, and currently we are allowing male sex offenders who ideate as trans into female prisons.
If all of that is true, I would support that.
You would support that. Thank you.
There are so many people out there like this. You can't just go, oh, they're misguided. I have to have sympathy for them. I have to meet them with understanding. No, you treat that evil demon like the evil demon she is. You must destroy evil, right? The left, what is the number one moral imperative if you get a time machine? You must go back and kill baby Hitler. You yourself are an evil, condemnable person if you do not want to go back in time and kill baby Hitler. And by that same logic, the same logic the DA was using, right? Any white child has the potential to become a future Hitler, a future Nazi. And so all white children are evil and must be killed. This is the mindset of that sweet old lady right there on the screen. There are people who are perfectly comfortable expressing these absolutely disgusting, horrid, evil views in public proudly, and condemning and attacking and wanting dead anyone who goes against them because we are the evil ones. That same energy, that is what we need directed back at them. They must be treated like the evil that they are. All of these woke white people at this is a recent memorial for George Floyd. It's almost exclusively white people. You cannot convince these people with facts and logic. They live in an inverted reality. They do not care about facts or logic. They everything that is good is bad. It is a 100% polar opposite of everything. There is no reaching these people with debate or reason or any of that. And in fact, let me skip ahead a little bit. I'm going to come back, but I want to get to this final point and then come back to it. In the ancient Greek city of Miletus, there was a high-profile suicide by a young woman, and because depression and suicide are psychogenic illnesses, some other Malaysian maiden saw the attention she got and committed suicide herself, and pretty soon they had a suicide epidemic. How did it end, you ask? Well, they tried everything, but the young women affected by this epidemic of madness seemed immune to reason. And then the leader of the city decreed that the next suicide would be stripped naked and left hanging in the city center to be leered at and then rot. How humiliating, you say. How cruel. How inhumane. But that was the last suicide in Miletus. My profile picture on there is Genghis Khan. It says, "Become Genghis." Right? Because Genghis understood that the path to the least amount of suffering was the path of the utmost brutality. This might be cruel, it might be brutal, it might be whatever, but just like the suicide epidemic, they were doing it because it got them attention. These women, mostly women, there's some men there as well, but all of these woke people here, they're doing it because it gets them social status, it gets them attention, it gives them validation, right? And you cannot stop that with reasoning. You couldn't even stop the suicide with reasoning, right? Nothing they tried worked. Until the leader said, we're going to brutalize you. We're going to strip you naked, hang you in the town square, and let everyone watch you rot. And suddenly the suicide stopped. If you want to save these people, which I hope you do, I hope you do want to save these people. They are obviously on the side of evil, but I would like to see them saved. I would like to see them no longer devoting their life to evil. You must understand that the only way that is possible is not through debate. It's not through kindness. It's not through patience. It's not by finding a middle ground. You cannot find a middle ground with evil. You have to destroy evil. You have to humiliate evil. You have to brutalize evil. And these people are evil. If you do not stop this, if you cannot wrap your head around this concept, this is what's coming to America. We've already seen glimpses of this. It's not like it's not here yet already, but it's not in full force here yet already. But white males are disproportionately committing rape. That is an untrue statement, but a legal statement in Belgium. Non-European migrants are disproportionately committing rape. That is a true statement, but also an illegal statement punished by prison in Belgium. Again, wokeness is a pure inversion of reality itself. The only way to stop this slide into madness is confronting these demons and confronting them more brutally than they are willing to be themselves. If you do not want this to be the inevitable fate of America, you need to start treating these evil demons like the evil demons they are. And, you know, why the left is so successful is because, again, they have that same mentality. We are evil. Us on the right, us normal straight white males are evil simply for being normal straight white males. We are all potential Hitlers, all potential Nazis, and so we must be destroyed. And they want us dead, and they are willing to take any and every action in order to bring the world closer to us being dead. It doesn't necessarily mean that they will kill us themselves, right? I want $1 million. I haven't gone out and robbed a bank, though. right? And so they want you dead. It doesn't mean they'll kill you themselves, but they will do anything they can to bring the world closer to that. They will harass. This is Old State Saloon. Every day he gets hate mail, he gets death threats, he gets harassed. And they do this to anyone and everyone that they disagree with. They do it to such extremes that the Canadian school shooting that happened a few months ago by the mentally ill tranny that shot up a middle school that killed a bunch of 10 to 12-year-olds, the radical leftist terrorists sent so many death threats to the victims of the families who had their children brutally murdered by this demon. They received so many death threats that the state said, we can't allow you to have a funeral. We cannot allow you to mourn your 12-year-old daughter's death at the hands of a lunatic because there's overwhelming, credible threats of violence and death. So, to any of you who are going, oh, well, what happened to Chud would never happen to me because I'm not a disgusting racist. I'm not stupid and going out and saying the magical nigger word. They'll do it to the victims, the families of the victims of killed 12-year-olds. They'll do it to Old State Saloon. They'll do it to anything. They will level whatever pressure they can apply. They will do it. They'll review bomb your business. They'll send hate mail and threats. They'll do anything. Nothing is too small or too large for them. Meanwhile, the right absolutely refuses to participate in this type of behavior. And I think a big part of that is because of this right here. The middle class is the most expensive place to live, and no one talks about it. Lower income households get assistance. The wealthy use tax strategies and loopholes, but the middle class pays full taxes, full tuition, full healthcare, full everything. So you work 50 hours a week just to stay in the same place and fund everyone's life except yours. Around 40% of the American population are tax contributors. The rest are a net drain on our resources. They receive money from the government rather than give money to the government. That 40% is very largely made up of white men. White people. The white people make up the middle class, and all of their productivity, all of their hard work is very literally being stolen from them to fund all of these invaders, all of these leeches, right? And there's an illusion of safety in the middle class, an illusion of security in the middle class. You have a comfortable enough life. You can provide for your family. You can give resources, and you also know that it's a precarious position. You know that if you speak out, if you voice your opinions, if you stand against those evil demons spouting openly, blatantly evil things, that you might lose everything that you've worked for. You went to college for 8 years, you got a good career, you've spent years working your way up in the company trying to secure that security, that comfortability for you and your family. But it is an illusion. It is a trap. And people must wake up to that trap and must realize that what happened to Henry, it is coming for us all. You cannot avoid it by keeping your head down. You can't be a good little goy and expect that when and if something like what happens to Henry or what happens to Chud happens to you, well, you're not a racist, you're not evil, you're not stupid and going out and expressing your opinions. You've stayed silent this whole time, so people will rally behind you and stand up with you to defend you because this is so obviously and blatantly wrong. I want to give you some facts on the Henry Novak case. Is it this one? No, it is this one. No. I might have lost the tab. Okay, I lost the tab. I'll just talk about it. So Henry, let's go over some of what occurred with Henry Novak. Multiple calls were made to the police from multiple different people about someone having been stabbed. The police did not send out any units in response to any of those calls. It wasn't until the Digwa family called and said they were the victims of a racial attack, then we get a police response. Finally, we get a police response, not because someone was stabbed, but because of a racial attack. The police show up. I'm sure you've seen the video. It is horrific. It's very hard to watch. I'm not going to play it here. I will assume that you've already seen it. And the police show up and they mock him. They handcuff him. They drag him across the gravel. They watch him die. Meanwhile, Digwa, who still has a knife on him, has not been handcuffed. And even, in fact, even after the police realized that Henry had in fact been stabbed, even after Henry had bled out and was laying dead in the fucking street, they still did not handcuff Digwa. They then eventually did arrest Digwa, right? They did eventually put him in handcuffs. And 3 days later, they tried releasing a statement framing Digwa as the victim and Henry as the problem. The murdered child, the murdered 18-year-old, was the problem, and Digwa was the victim. And that statement was only not released because the father, Henry's father, fought against it so hard. They seized Henry's phone and they seized his father's phone, trying to search for evidence of racism. Because again, had they found anything, they would have run with it, of course. But if he's racist, well, that's justified. This isn't a murder. Just like with Carmelo Anthony, it's self-defense. You can stab white people because they're evil, racist Nazis, and it's justifiable. You're the victim when you stab evil, racist, white Nazis, right? They seized his phone and his father's phone looking for evidence of racism so that they could smear Henry as the problem and label Digwa as the victim. We had a case here in Washington State where a guy was acquitted of all charges because the guy he stabbed called him a nigger after being stabbed by him. If you think that what happened to Chud only happened because he's a retarded racist and he's an extremist and it could never happen to you, what happened to Henry would never happen to you because you're not retarded and you're not racist, disabuse yourself of that illusion right now. This is why we must stand with Chud. Even if you think Chud was a retard, we must stand with Chud. We must defend him. We must fight for his freedom. Because if we don't fight for Chud, if we don't fight for Henry, and if we condemn our warriors who are willing to fight for us and fight on our behalf, there will be no one to stand when this happens to you. And it won't, you're not protected from it happening because you're a good little goy, because you kept your opinions to yourself, because you didn't say the naughty nigger word. It will happen to you all the same. They will smear you as a racist. You get stabbed. You're the problem. It was self-defense. It was justified. Doesn't matter if you do these things or not. They'll smear you all the same. Going back again to this idea of the leftists there's no action too small or too large. And this might seem like just a silly ad. This might not seem like a big deal here, right? This is a realtor. If you voted for Donald J. Trump, I am not the realtor for you. She's got a couple of these. Another one, like if you're anti-immigration or if you support ICE, I'm not the realtor for you. Like, what does this matter? This isn't a big deal, right? This is a big deal. Because this is the general mindset of the left. They are perfectly comfortable literally putting their opinions on billboards, in advertisements. They will express their hatred for you because you're an evil, racist Nazi openly. They will discriminate against you. They will get you fired from your job. They will refuse to work with you. They'll not serve you in their store or their restaurant. Meanwhile, the right refuses to participate in this behavior. It's absolutely pathetic. I'll come back to that. There's the tab I was looking for. But yeah, police tried to label Henry as the problem. Where's the tab I'm looking for? I don't know. I've got too many damn tabs open. But the woke and the left, these people, you know, those fat white Americans who are standing for the George Floyd vigil, they must be treated, they must be given the same energy, open hostility that Americans gave Nazis at the end of World War II. That's the energy that the left has towards average, everyday, normal white people. Any Republican, any average, normal Republican, and this isn't about Democrat or Republican, but that is the energy that the left and the woke have towards the average Republican. They want you dead, and they're perfectly happy to express those views publicly. They'll put them in advertisements. No action, too small or too large. Meanwhile, the right refuses. You need to give that open hostility. Treat these demons like the demons they are. And if you don't, we will continue descending into a lower and lower trust society. This man stopped two 12-year-old girls from sexual harassment in England. I think it was in England. It was one of those, Britain. He gets arrested for it, banned from his town center, gets his place raided by police. There was a post from Brazil that I saw a while ago that I never actually shared on here, but I wanted to. And it was a guy who saw like this little 10-year-old girl walking down the street, and she was clearly lost. He could tell she was lost. So he approached her and tried to help her, tried to, help her find her family or wherever she needed to go. And some other people saw this decent white man walking with this, 10-year-old girl who was not his daughter. And they automatically assumed that he was the predator. And so they attacked him and they beat him to death and they killed him. And that's obviously horrible, right? But what was more interesting to me was the comments in that thread were overwhelmingly, I mean like 90%, 90+%, were all going, yeah, he should have known better. You can't help women and children. Like, of course that's what you get. Like, what do you expect when you try and help women and children who, are lost or scared or need help? You should know better than to do that. That is ultimately where we're heading as a society, is a low trust society where not only do you get, attacked and arrested and beaten to death for trying to help the innocent, but you deserve it because of course that's what you get. Everyone knows that's what you get. You're stupid for ever trying to help them. Is that a society that you want to live in? If you are a part of that middle class, right, you're comfortable, your family's comfortable, maybe your kids go to a private school. Even if you manage to keep your head down, you're one of the lucky ones. Your daughters never get raped by an invader. You never get stabbed to death in the street in a random attack. You miraculously manage to keep your job. Meanwhile, you watch as all of those things happen to the people around you. You watch as your society descends to a state of decay until you finally get to a point where, of course, you shouldn't help that lost 10-year-old little girl. You knew what was coming to you if you tried to help those children or those women. Is that the world you want to live in? Is that actually an acceptable trade-off? Is preserving that security, assuming you will be one of the lucky ones who actually manages to preserve it, is the decay, the suffering of your countrymen and your brothers all around you, watching it and knowing that you can never speak out against it. You can never stand against it. You can only cheer it on further in hopes that your head isn't the next one on the chopping block for a little bit longer. Is that actually an acceptable way to live? Is that a worthwhile trade-off? Or maybe, is it worth it to risk that and fight back? Because if you don't risk that and you don't fight back, that suffering is guaranteed to you and so many others, and it will get so much worse. When people pay their respects to a young white lad stabbed to death by a brown man, they have to wear balaclavas to hide their identity. Otherwise, they risk being fired or socially stigmatized. That's where we currently are. It only gets worse from here. But is that an acceptable way to live? Henry gets killed. They try and smear him as the problem. They try and label him as racist, which I wouldn't give a fuck if he was racist. I would encourage it, right? But he wasn't, and they still tried to smear him as racist. They still tried to portray him, the innocent victim who got stabbed to death in a random attack, as the problem. And God forbid you show some sympathy towards that innocent victim. Or else, oops, there goes your career. There goes your middle class status. Is that an acceptable way to live? And this is only the beginning. It gets so much worse than this. It gets so much worse than this. If we do not stop it, it gets so much worse. Is that a worthwhile trade-off? How long do you think your kids will be lucky? Are they going to get a nice job? Are they going to be able to stay in the middle class? Even if they do, is this how you want them to live? And again, if you think that, well, Henry was just an outlier, Chud's a retard, I'm not worried about these things happening to me. This is a video of the UK police slamming a white boy onto the ground, choking him, telling him to stop being a bitch, because he was just the victim of a random attack by a foreign invader. I don't know why it sounds like it's sped up. So I muted the audio, but you can see they're on top of him, they're tackling him, they're choking him. Why? Because he was the victim of a random attack by a foreign invader. What happened to Henry can happen to any of us and all of us. And if you do not stand up and fight for these people, if you do not stand up and fight for Chud, there will be no one there to stand when this happens to you. You will be all alone. You will be facing the violent immigrants, the violent invaders. You will be facing the violent police who all want you dead. You will be dragged through the court system. Your name will be slandered. You'll be labeled a racist and having deserved it, whether you are or aren't. Tribe the fuck up. Find your team. Join a group. Start a group of your own. Right? I mentioned Patriot Front at the beginning of this episode. Don't buy into the psyops, convincing that anyone who organizes is a Fed. If you believe that, start your own fucking group. Build it yourself. But find your allies. Find people who you can fight alongside and who will fight alongside you. Start building your network. And I'll come to this in just a second. This is a very important point. But it's absolutely pathetic that Chud the Builder has roughly $300,000 in his Give, Send, Go right now. It's pathetic that there aren't at least 100,000 people in the entire fucking world who are willing to donate $5 to Chud. The left is collectivist by nature, and the right is individualist by nature. And that has to change. You see all of these riots, and I'm going to talk about this more later, but I want to touch on it a little bit now. you see all of these riots, they have riot gear, they have supplies, the people coming in to do it, like in New Jersey right now, it's all foreign license plates. By foreign, I mean like other states. People are traveling across the country to participate in these things. And how and why are they able to do so? And I'm sure some of you are sitting there saying George Soros and NGOs, and I do believe that plays a factor, sure. But there is an undeniable, very significant factor here, which is that the left is collectivist. The left is willing, one, to defend and support their warriors. They back their warriors and they fund their warriors. That nice, sweet lady down the street who's a school teacher, right? The one who smiles and waves at you, but also wants you fucking dead because you're a straight white male. She's donating to Antifa. She's helping fund Antifa. She has no problem giving a little bit of her money to help make sure that riot continues. They support their warriors. They support each other. They collectivize and they come together and they pool their resources and they're able to affect far greater, change than as an individual. If we remain individualistic, if we remain unwilling to even donate $5 to Chud, do you think there's less than 100,000 people out there who get the situation, who get the kinds of things that I'm talking about? I refuse to believe that. I think there's way more than 100,000. So why is his Give, Send, Go so small still? Why can't we get 100,000 people to donate $5? We need to start collectivizing. We need to become tribal. We need to support our warriors. We need to team the fuck up. But, going on about how the left, they will exert pressure anywhere they can find an ability to exert pressure. No action too small, no action too big. This is Saline Township's treasurer who resigned, citing threats tied to the Oracle OpenAI data center backlash. So this town, their constituents didn't want the data center, but they didn't want to listen. Sound familiar? That's kind of the standard operating procedure for our government, from local to, federal. And kind words, marching, asking them not to do it, voting harder, none of that worked. None of that worked. But when people applied pressure to her as an individual because they didn't like what she was doing, they don't want this data center here, they sent a bunch of death threats to her. She resigned. They got results. And I bet a lot of those people, maybe all or most of them, were leftists, right? I don't know. Maybe some, I know there's people on the right who are against these data centers as well, and also just normal people. But the point is that our politicians, the DAs, the police, all of these people, they're just that. They're people. There is this kind of idea that a lot of people have where it's like the elites, they actually are special. They actually are different from us. Like, we can't touch them. We can't affect them. No, you absolutely can't. You absolutely can. Apply pressure to them. Apply pressure to them. They are just people, and like most people, most of them are weak and cowardly, and they will cave to pressure quite quickly. And a little bit of white pill, and showing you that this works on our side as well. In the Chud the Builder case, the judge denied the $1 million from Dual. Dual was willing to pay the full bond amount of Chud. The judge said, nope, we can't accept that. So Alex Rosen said, hey, I've got $100,000. I'll bail him out. I'll give $100,000 to a bail bondsman, and he'll give the rest of the money, and we'll get him out of prison. And the judge said, no, you can't do that. You have to get 10 different bondsmen and give them $10,000 each. You can't give any bondsman more than $10,000. So you have to get 10 different ones, 10 each. And in the area that Chud is, only 2 bondsmen were willing to work with him. So this guy, Truthsayer, big fan. He's really doing a lot for Chud. I really appreciate everything he's doing. He put out a list of all of the bondsmen that were in the area, in the state, that were refusing to work with Chud, and he put up their contact information, and he goes, call them. Call them. Apply pressure. Apply some pressure. Because the reason that they're refusing to work with Chud in the first place is because of the expected pressure from the left. Because they know there will be pressure from the left if they do. And so he said, hey, apply pressure. Give them a call. And people did. And now there are 10 bonding companies that are willing to work with Dalton. Hopefully he's able to get out of prison soon, because they're keeping him in solitary. They're abusing the shit out of him. They're refusing him access to his Bible, all kinds of fucked up shit. And again, that's the same treatment that you will get as well. Not because you went out and said the naughty nigger word, but because you are a normal white male. And things like this will inevitably continue happening, and continue happening in more extreme ways and more frequently, until the right learns to team the fuck up and apply pressure, support their warriors, stop falling for the psyops convincing you to attack the people who are fighting on your side, convincing you that if you take any action, you're going to lose. We are losing, and it's because we're refusing to take action. Wake the fuck up. Tribe up, fight back, treat the evil demons like the evil demons that they are. Apply pressure. Like I was just saying, Chud is being denied his Bible while in jail. Another point to the Christian haters. It's like, what are the Jews in these Western countries and these other countries, what are they waging war against? What's being burnt down in all of these countries? The churches, the Christian churches? It is whiteness and Christianity that are their biggest threats. Support, again, call out the Christian Zionists, but do not make enemies of your allies. Don't make enemies of your allies. Chud is a warrior, a Christian warrior. I support him. They hate Christianity for a reason. Again, what I've been saying, just someone else saying it here, until we treat all leftists as Nazis were treated at the end of World War II, this will not only continue to happen, but accelerate in frequency. This is an extremely important point that I simply don't see it. I just, I don't see people on the right willing to adopt this behavior yet, right? This lady right here, treat her the way the Nazis were treated after the end of World War II. Treat her like the evil demon that she is. And again, that suicide thing, you're not going to fix them, you're not going to convince them, you're not going to stop them by having a rational conversation. You stop them through brutality. And you can't half-ass the brutality. The path to the least amount of suffering is the path of the utmost brutality. Become Genghis Khan. Become Genghis Khan. Again, we've got 4 million, which again, I don't believe. I think it's way, way fucking more than that. These Muslims are everywhere. I can't go anywhere in this country without seeing Muslims. Every part of this country that I've been to over the last few years, Muslims fucking everywhere. 4 million seems like a gross underestimation. But here's what's happening in Japan, along with random stabbings in Japan, along with their temples being burnt to the ground in Japan. Japan is fully feeling this invasion. They are having their way of life completely disrupted. They have 0.3% Muslim population. They have 0.3%, less than 0.5% of their country is Muslim, and they are experiencing random violence in the streets. Their temples are being burnt and destroyed. They're having lawfare waged against them and intimidation. I have received a DM from the Japan Halal Corporation. There's a fucking Japan Halal Corporation for the 0.3% in Japan. accusing me of hate speech and defamation. This is lawfare designed to intimidate Japanese people into silence from voicing opposition to halal slaughter. This is what's happening with 0.3%. We have, places like Dearborn, Michigan, places in Texas, which effectively are Middle Eastern Islamic states now. Because the police force, the judges, the institutions are already controlled by the Muslims. They infiltrate, they come in, they kick out all of the people that, they wage jihad, right? And they take these things over. And so this is what's happening with 0.3%. What happens when they actually control the institutions? When they can just do whatever the fuck they want because they are the police force, they are the mayor, they are the et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We already have parts of America where that's the case. The majority of Muslims this is a fact, you can go look this up from Pew Research, it's about a 20-year-old survey. The situation has only gotten worse since then, right? But 20-ish years ago, they did a massive survey, and the majority of Muslims in every single Western nation, the majority, well over 50%, supported bringing Sharia law to that Western nation. They also asked questions about, do you support jihad? And they broke it down with, do you support it ideologically? Do you support it as in, you'd be willing to give money and donate? Or do you support it, materially, where, you're supplying weapons, you're housing jihadists, you're actually taking them into your house? Or will you actively participate in the jihad, right? And while those were minority portions, they were, depending on the country, ranging from 30 to 40%. These people are here to take over. You cannot stop them by asking them nicely. They want to replace you and kill you and steal everything you own, and they want to rape your daughters. There's no asking them nicely. We're not going to remove 4 million Muslims because we go, hey, sir, I don't agree with your teachings. I don't think... No. If Jake Lang is too extreme for burning a Quran, how the fuck do you think we get 4 million fucking Muslims that are here to replace you and take over the country and turn it into an Islamic state? How do you suggest we get them out? What do you think needs to be done if burning a Quran is too extreme? Because let me tell you, burning a Quran is not only not too extreme, it's not even close to extreme enough. Just some good old lads having a little bit of fun, participating in a little bit of mischief. They're not really accomplishing too much here because it looks like they're just covering the cameras and they're not, destroying them. But hey, props to them. I support it. I like the energy. I like that they're putting it out there on the internet. They're showing people, hey, look, you can participate in a little bit of mischief as well. It's okay. It's okay to participate in a little mischief sometimes. It's fun. It's a fun time. This is what I was talking about earlier, right? I want to talk about Reckless Ben and the Lego situation, actually. It's a really good... I'll get to this clip in a second. So if you're not familiar with Reckless Ben and the Lego situation, I'm not going to give you the full background, but he makes really fun videos. They're just very entertaining. They might be enlightening, but they're just genuinely fun to watch. I'd recommend go checking them out for that purpose. But there's a lot of people watching it and they're like, wow, look at the corruption of the Fork Police Department. Look at how corrupt they are. This is so disgusting. Those cops, specifically those cops, are corrupt and disgusting, and it's abhorrent. I want you to understand something very clearly, which is that nothing that's happening in the Lego situation with Reckless Ben is unique. It is not unique to the Fork Police Department. They are not uniquely corrupt. This is everything that you're seeing with Reckless Ben is the standard operating procedure. Let me just play this. It's distracting in the background. Pause it, rather. That is how our system operates. And I've long, even before I started talking about politics, back when I was an alternate archaeology channel, I was talking about how our society has been very deliberately engineered in order to not only get rid of any heroes, but like eliminate the possibility of a hero even rising up, right? And I think this is something that a lot of people, I struggled to explain it well, and a lot of people probably didn't understand. But you look at the Lego situation, right? And it's like this guy had his life savings stolen from him. And what can he even do about it? There's nothing he can do about it. He tries going to the police. Well, they're not on his side. They take the side of the faceless corporation. He tries to go to the corporation. Well, he just gets a runaround. Who is even to blame here? Corporate says it's, this guy, it's just this endless, there's no one in the past, right? If someone wanted to steal from you, they had to actually physically steal from you. If someone wanted to fuck you over, they had to actually fuck you over face to face, right? There was someone that you could go, hey, you've wronged me, and I'm going to go make it right. Our entire society has been engineered to make that no longer the case. It's all of this bureaucratization of the world. So a man gets his life savings stolen by Bricks and Minifigs, the fucking Lego company, and there's nothing he can do about it. There's nothing he can do about it. And God forbid he does go try and do something about it and he gets violent or whatever. It's like, you can't even attack the person. It's not a person. It's a whole fucking bureaucracy. Who does he fight? The police department? The entire corporation? Like, this is, it's the Bricks and Minifigs thing is a great example of how our system is designed. What you're seeing there is not unique. It is how this stuff operates, right? It is all corrupt. It is all against you. The system wants you dead and works towards making a world in which you are dead, disenfranchised, dead, excluded, debanked, driven from society to left to starve. And as I was talking about, the police, right? Because the standard operating procedure with a good white police department already is corruption. It already is what you're seeing in the Reckless Ben video. So what do you think happens when you get an all-black police department, you get an all-Muslim police department, you get these invaders taking over your institutions? That already standard level of corruption, it explodes. It becomes unimaginable levels of corruption. It becomes something that, how do you even fight against it when it's the entire fucking system and it's so blatant and it's so open? This needs to be stopped. And I've already explained how to stop it. And how not to. Get active. Get radicalized. Find allies. Find allies. Join a group. Form your own group. Team the fuck up. Tribe the fuck up. Defend your warriors. So start collectivizing. Give $5 to Chud. Why the fuck do we not have at least 100,000 people who are willing to give $5 to Chud? It's pathetic. It's absolutely pathetic. But yeah, this is, a bit of an example of what happens when you do have like an all-black police department. It only gets worse with Muslims and other groups. So imagine an all-Somali police department. If we don't have one yet, we're getting pretty close in some of these parts of the country. Over in Michigan, they definitely have Somalis on the police. I don't know if it's all Somali yet, but hey, that's how they work. They take these things over, they infiltrate, they push out all of the good people with accusations of evil racism, and then they take it the fuck over. And then you're really fucked. And just again, a bit of reminder of what you're facing. These are, there's going to be more riots for the Asian dude, the Asian gas station owner who shot the guy who pointed a gun at his child, his business was robbed, and then the guy pointed a gun at his child, and so he shot him and killed him. He was found innocent, and the niggers are none too happy about it. There's no debating these people. There's no middle ground with these people. Brutality. Brutality. This is a really crazy video. So what you just saw there is a white female police officer getting attacked by an invader. She has her gun taken from her. He gets off 2 shots, and thankfully the third shot jammed, so he wasn't able to execute her, and then he managed to get the third shot off a bit later while she was running away. This guy, it's all on video there, this guy was found not guilty. That guy was found not guilty. No convictions. So again, if you think Chud's a retard, that would never happen to me. And if anything like that ever did happen to me, people would stand behind me. There would be riots from the white people in the streets because it would be such an obvious injustice. Get your fucking head out of your ass. Abuse yourself, whatever. Get rid of that delusion, because it is purely a delusion. Stand up. Tribe up. Defend your warriors. Defend your people. Or there will be no one to defend you when it inevitably happens to you. This is the system we have now. Not guilty. You, the victim of something like that, you're actually the problem. I wonder what this white guy did. Do you think he was out there saying the naughty nigger word? I have a feeling he wasn't. Nothing like that would ever happen to you, though, because you're not a disgusting extremist like Jake Lang. You disavow Jake Lang. You disavow Chud, so of course nothing like that would ever happen to you. And this is again the left and their pressure, right? This is the Asian guy who I was just talking about a second ago. This is his business, which I believe is no longer his business. They're still fucking attacking his business. He doesn't even fucking own it anymore. But he defended his store. He gets labeled as a racist for defending his store and his family, his child who had a gun pointed in his face. He was found innocent ultimately, but doesn't matter. He still had to go through years of this legal process, this legal punishment. He still had his business destroyed and taken from him. And they're probably going to fucking riot over it. But hey, nothing like this could ever happen to you because you're a good guy. You condemned Chud. You condemned Jake Lang. We need to start defending these people, and we need to start meeting these evil animals with the appropriate level of hostility, hatred, and brutality. Treat them like the Nazis were treated after World War II. You cannot associate with them. You cannot allow them into your business. You cannot fucking give them an inch. Humiliate them and brutalize them. Going back to that suicide thing, right? And all of those white people that were standing at the vigil for George Floyd, make no mistake, that is no different than the suicide contagion. It is suicide, right? And it's for the exact same reasons. Social status, attention. The only way to break that is through brutality, not reason. This bitch is probably retarded and crazy.
Almost every single...
She almost certainly is retarded and crazy, but she also makes very valid points. The left is able to do what they do because they are collectivist, because they defend their warriors, because they fund each other. They are the reason they will donate to Antifa. They are the reason Antifa is able to operate, because they donate, because they support, because they don't condemn their warriors, they support them. This is a very important thing to understand. And like the boogeyman of George Soros, right? It's again a psyop, right? Because how do you fight that? How do you fight all of the NGOs that are, funding Antifa and doing all of these things? You can't. There's nothing you can do against that. And you can't match an NGO as an individual, right? So there's no point in you trying to defend your warriors or fund, the people who are willing to go out there and fight for you. Why donate to Chud? You can't compete with an NGO. It is a psyop. It is absolutely a psyop. And even if it's got partial truth, it is still a psyop. The left is able to do what they do because they are collectivists. And the right could learn a few lessons. Pretty fucking graphic. Sorry, but 2 stabbings on this railway in 1 week. 2 innocent white women. But it can't happen to you as long as you're not racist, right? And you're perfectly comfortable living in a society where not only does that happen with increasing frequency, but as you watch it happen, you know that you can't intervene, not only because you might be an imminent, immediate physical threat there, but you'll deserve anything that happens to you. You'll deserve getting treated like Daniel Penny. You'll deserve getting treated like Henry Novak and Chud the Builder. You'll deserve getting beaten to death in the streets for trying to help women and children. And again, why is it that the left... There is, I talk about trannies a lot. People think I'm obsessed with them. I'm not. They just are really easy to make points with. How is it that our country so broadly accepted men in women's bathrooms, men in women's sports, all of this tranny bullshit, when it was not only never the majority supporting it, it was like wildly unpopular with the majority? It was because, like this man here,
20 times more like.
They're willing to scream in your face. They're willing to punch you in the face. They are ready and willing to attack anyone who disagrees with them. They will treat you like the Nazis after World War II if you don't want to suck the tranny nigger cock. This type of energy, the left is fully embraced. It's why they keep gaining ground. They are willing to be extreme. They are willing to take action. They're willing to punch you in the face and scream in your face. The right, look at him. He's got a smile. He's trying to be polite. Do you think he changed that guy's mind? Do you think that guy is, loves white people now? Or do you think he still wants them dead? The only thing that stops this is matching and exceeding that energy. This is what we're facing. Paris is burning. Look at them having fun, though. Doesn't that look like fun? Dancing on the car, flipping the bird. Looks like a good fucking time. This is what we're facing. You're not going to stop this by asking nicely. You're not going to stop this with debate. Get active. Tribe up. Group up. Defend your warriors. Support Chud. And I know a lot of you. I am on YouTube. You can check me out and my previous streams at _the Goob on YouTube. I know a lot of you have issues with Jake Lang. I disagree with you, obviously. I think he is fighting on our behalf. I don't see an issue with any of the things he's doing. I don't condemn any of the things he's doing. I fully just lost my train of thought. My brain just went fucking blank. Sorry, fellas. Right, right. But like, even if you have, for some reason, an issue with Jake Lang specifically, you have to understand the actions he's taking, the things he's doing, burning Qurans, being confrontational, confronting these demons and calling them out for being the demons that they are. That is the type of thing that we need more of. So even if you do have a personal grudge against him for some reason that I can't understand, I would suggest you just shut the fuck up about it. I strongly suggest you stop counter signaling. Stop fucking attacking people who are fighting for you. The left would never do that. The left would never in a million fucking years condemn one of their own because they're too extreme or they don't agree with them personally or anything like that. If you don't like them, just shut the fuck up. Stop condemning. Stop condemning. Stop fucking condemning. Because we're going to need a lot more than just Jake Lang. And people like me, right? We see that. We see the fucking hatred. The hatred Jake gets is genuinely more from the right than the left. Why would I want to go out there and be a warrior? Why would I want to go fight on your behalf? Why would I go try and defend you? When I know that you're going to label me a Fed, you're going to attack me, you're going to condemn me, not only will I have my life ruined and have people want me dead from the left, but from the right as well. Stop condemning. Defend your warriors. This is Paris. Fun times. Oh, let me skip. Look at that. Just some lads having some fun. This is what we're up against. They're not leaving because you asked them nicely. This is a fucking war. The left has been at war. The Muslims understand it's a war. They're just biding their time. They're trying to infiltrate institutions. They're trying to, reach a critical mass. But their intention entirely is to wage war, is to wage jihad. Same with the Somalis, the faggots, everyone. The majority, I said in my very first PolitiGoob stream, the majority of blacks, Muslims, Jews, and the left want you dead. The only way we get out of this is through brutality. Hang the body in the town square, strip it naked, and let it rot for everyone to see. That's the only way you stop this suicide epidemic. And again, here they are openly talking about taking over Paris, right? This is, Paris. So that's what you're up against. Chat, what do you guys have been chatting? Let me take a moment and read chat here. Yeah, hey Slav, I messaged them. I did message them about it. They didn't seem terribly interested, but I'll go on History Homo's podcast and talk NAGPRA. I'd be happy to do so. If you can get me on there, I'm open to it. Yeah, I sure hope England is on the verge of revolution. I really, truly hope they are. Did you read my comment that Patriot Front is not a Fed front? They just agreed with the FBI statements that they have undercovers in Patriot Front, so Patriot Front does nothing violent and only shows up. No, I didn't read your comment, but I didn't need to, right? It's absolute retardation, the Fed bullshit. The Fed, ironically, the everyone's a Fed thing is pushed by the Feds. And again, if you are too paranoid to join something like Patriot Front, who does do nothing but community outreach and marching with flags and nothing violent, if you're too fucking scared, you go, oh, those are feds, we have to condemn them, then start your own fucking group. But I think you're fucking retarded if you think that everyone's a fed and you use that as an excuse to remain inactive. I think you've been psyoped, very obviously so. You know, Slav says, Goob, I'm telling you that Jake Lang guy is going the same track as Tommy Robinson, who says we will let in those who don't look or believe or think like us as long as they say we love UK. I am aware of Tommy Robinson. It's fucking crazy. Fuck that guy. And, you know, if that is what is going on with Jake Lang, then great. When he starts doing that, I will start condemning him. Right now, though, everything he has done is something that I agree with and support. I do not condemn any of his actions, and I am actively encouraging other people to participate in similar actions. So I'm not going to condemn him while he is fighting for us, and I've seen no evidence yet of what you're saying. If that is ultimately what he's doing, great. Let him fucking tie his own rope then and hang himself with it. But I haven't seen him do that yet. And I think that, you know, to me, it really does seem like a psyop. I see all of these people so angry at Jake and saying all of this bullshit. I haven't seen one credible thing yet. If there's evidence that Jake is actually working against our interests, show me. I literally haven't seen a single piece of evidence yet. I just see people go, no, everyone knows. He's a fucking fed. He's our enemy. Just like everyone said that about Patriot Front and the Proud Boys and literally anyone who ever was willing to do anything. You take any action, you're a fed, you're an enemy. It seems like the exact same playbook and psyop to me. So I don't buy it. If there is evidence, I'm open to it. Show me it. You can, I'm on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm also the Goob on Twitter. It's Goob_the57373. That's the full thing. If you want to check me out on Twitter, Goob_the57373. Send me the evidence, dude. I'm genuinely open to seeing it. I will happily change my position on Jake if I see the evidence, but I haven't yet. So I'm not going to condemn until he does something that is condemnable. I do have a load of comments to go through, and that's only from YouTube. I can't actually scroll up in the other chat, so I can't read all of it, but guys, don't be muting each other. Don't make me take away all the wrenches like Danny did. God damn it. All right, I'm caught up on that chat. Yeah, people are skeptical, and rightfully so. I do understand it. I do understand the skepticism. Like I really do get it, but like you said, we cannot allow our paranoia to overtake our logic. And the option of remaining inactive is guaranteed death and suffering, not only for all of us, but for the entire fucking world. And I'm sure some of you don't care about the rest of the world. I'm a fucking autistic weirdo. I feel an obligation to all of humanity. I would like the best for everyone. And in order to have the best for everyone, we must secure the safety and security of white people. Everyone else suffers if we, continue down this path. It's bad for everyone. It's not just bad for white people. It's bad for fucking everyone. Again, you will not be spared from getting the Henry Novak treatment. You will not be spared from the Chud treatment. We are all Chud if this is not stopped. Yeah, and you know what, Vril? Again, I have no problem with that. That statement right there, I do agree with your general stance. Jake Lang is still a Jew, though, and therefore should never be fully trusted. I actually have no problem with that. But again, just stop condemning him. Stop fucking counter-signaling. Stop fucking condemning him. And then when he does something actually condemnable, you can go, hey, that guy's not with us. Fuck him. No problem. But yeah, I just stop counter-signaling and just stop counter-signaling. You can be skeptical. I have no problem with you being skeptical. Be skeptical. I think it's a good thing to be skeptical. But yeah, don't counter-signal. So I had a few more tabs. This was actually from the thumbnail here. These two poor white girls made a wrong turn, ended up in the middle of a riot. But they probably voted for this, right? They deserve it. They deserve it. They voted for it. This would never happen to me because I didn't vote for it, and I'm not a racist. I will never be chudified, and I'll never have this happen to me because I didn't vote for it. This fucking... There really is just this... as much as I hate the left and everything else, there's something so contemptible to me about people who sit there and say shit like that and act that way. Don't unify. Don't defend Chud. And also, when this shit happens, they deserved it because they voted for it. Chud deserved it because he said the naughty nigger word. He's an extremist. There's so many fucking disgusting retards on the right who are embracing that type of mentality. And it truly disgusts me, and I truly hate it. There's nothing stopping this from happening to you. What happens when you make a wrong turn? They got lucky. They weren't raped and killed, as far as I know. They just had their car completely destroyed. You literally see them popping the hood and tearing fucking parts out. So yeah, they're just set back, 60, 80 grand, whatever the fuck this car costs. I have no idea. It looked like a decently nice car. The system's not going to help them. They're on their own. They're fucked. And they are lucky. Again, just kind of emphasizing the idea of the left's ability is due to its collectivism. 99% of the license plates in New Jersey are from out-of-state vehicles. They've got fucking an HR department, a woman with a clipboard. They've got fat trannies working the supply tent. And then, of course, their energy. Antifa people literally foam at the mouth when yelling like they are on hard drugs. If you try to smile and engage as humans, they yell and scream. There's nothing going on behind their eyes. It's a dead, dark stare. You're not going to reach them with polite words and smiles. You only reach them by being more extreme and more brutal than they are. You only stop the suicide epidemic by hanging the body, stripped naked, in the middle of the town square, left for everyone to see rot. You can infiltrate. It's not hard to do. It's actually genuinely not hard to do. You can infiltrate these signal chats of Antifa. You can get in there. You can see their planning for yourself. If you don't believe me, if you think this is all really George Soros and shadowy NGOs and it's not collectivism, you can infiltrate and you can see the people. Hey, I'll go pick up these people. This is coming from the community. These supplies are getting dropped off by individuals. There's people running, running fundraisers, collecting donations so they can go out and get these supplies, so they can go out and fund bail for people who get arrested, and et cetera, et cetera. And Is there an institutional aspect? I'm sure there is. But you cannot overlook, you cannot deny the reality that a lot of this is because they are collective. And the reason that we're not doing this is because we're not collective. We're individualist. And that has to change. Tribe the fuck up. Just, again, some good fun. You got the Eiffel Tower in the background. Just a little bit of fun. This is what we're up against. No polite conversation is changing this. Eiffel Tower with fires. You have been invaded. The invasion has already happened. It's not over, but it's already happened. And you're not getting the invaders out by voting harder. You're not getting them out by asking nicely. Again, I fully reject the idea that it's only 4 million Muslims. I've lived in a few different states in the last few years. That's hardly the whole country, right? But any time I've traveled, any time I go anywhere, it's Muslims fucking everywhere. And there's plenty of videos like this from all around various parts of the country. It is Muslims fucking everywhere. This is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Even if it is just 4 million. Remember the 0.3% in Japan totally fucking up their way of life. They're not going to go because you ask them politely. On the note of there's no action too small or too big. Again, pressuring individuals, these politicians, the judges, the DAs, they are just individuals. They are humans. They are weak and pathetic and cowardly like most humans are. When you apply pressure to them, they break and they fold and they change what they're doing. So learn how to apply pressure, and that can come, the left's preferred form is death threats, just overwhelming, hollow death threats. Largely hollow, at least. But you get enough death threats, you get enough harassment, you get enough review bombs on your business, etc., etc. And, it starts to get to you. So, but you don't have to always resort to death threats. There are also, official channels that you can go through. This is another reason why I think Reckless Ben in the Lego Saga is a good thing to go check out and watch. It's entertaining, and he is exceptionally good at pivoting. You come up against an obstacle that seems impossible to overcome. You've met a roadblock, but just like those heroes from the Greek stories, right, who view everything as a test for them to overcome, there's always a solution. There's always a way for you to overcome and come out on top, no matter what the odds are. This is a test to make you stronger and to prove yourself. Reckless Ben is extremely good at that. He's extremely good at finding a way to make something happen. And this post right here, for everyone saying file a complaint, this is in response to the judge at Dalton, Chud the Builder, and all of his insanity. File a complaint here pointing to some online complaint form. That's what they want the public to think is the best way to take action. It is not. Look up the judicial canons for this district, type up a judicial complaint based on the canons he violated, then send it in certified mail requiring a signature. Even if it is dismissed, it has to be reported to his insurance. I had a 20-year federal magistrate judge hand off my free speech case and step down immediately, retiring early after receiving my formal judicial complaint. It has to be legit. Find the actual judicial canons he has violated and include only that in the complaint. This is what they don't want you to know. Trust me. If you want to follow this guy, because he's promised it. It hasn't come out yet, but this is Wits It, Gets It. He's said he would write up a template and give the resources so, you could more easily do this yourself. But now with AI especially, right? It's easier than ever to become a Reckless Ben. It's easier than ever to become a Wits It, Gets It. And do things and find solutions to things that you might not know about. Sit down with some AI, have some conversations, dig into things. Hey, how do I actually do this in a way where it's, like he says, it has to be reported to his insurance? How do I make this, even if it gets tossed out, how do I make this something that they can't ignore? Certified mail requiring a signature, there are lots of avenues that you can go down. Find what you can do and start doing it. Apply pressure. Figure out the best way that you can apply pressure and start applying pressure. And I'm going to end on this. Something I've talked about in several of my last videos is the symbolism, right? Symbolism is very important. Things like this are great. This is something that anyone can do. Go get some fucking stickers. Go get some pamphlets. Go get some posters. Put it up. Be visible. Be visible. How many people are going to see that sticker? How many stickers can one guy put up? Could you canvas the stop signs in like your entire town? I mean, that's just one sticker, right? But like, you get the idea, right? Be visible. And then, I've been asking, what symbol can we actually, what flag can we fly? It is important to have a symbol that you can unite around. And every symbol that we have keeps getting corrupted. Turning Point USA, immediately after Charlie's death, it became Israel Point USA. And so it's not like you can sport the TPUSA merch and actually send the right signal. You look at the American flag itself. You look at the MAGA movement, right? And that's become Make Israel Great Again, very obviously. There's even a grossness to flying our own country's flag. There's even an element of that's corrupted. That's not really the message that I am trying to send. And I really like Patriot Front in what they're doing here, right? And you can check out their marches. They do have American flags. They have even more upside down American flags. An upside down American flag is the symbol for great distress, America in great distress, which we of course are in great distress. So I think the upside down flag is a pretty decent symbol. It's not the Israeli flag like the American flag is becoming. It represents the America that we want, and it represents the fact that the America we have is not that we are in great distress. On top of that, you also will see some Confederate flags, which I think is pretty good. It's interesting because, I've asked, should we just start flying the fucking swastika? And I don't like that. I don't like it, and not because of the optics of it. Although, of all symbols, that is the largest optical hurdle. I largely recommend ignoring optics. Optics are not how you win, right? But out of any symbol you ever could pick, it has World War II probably has the largest propaganda campaign ever launched on humanity ever, right? It's a lot to overcome. It's a fucking lot to overcome. But the main reason that I don't like it is just because the Nazis undeniably lost. I don't really love the idea of flying a flag of a group that was completely eliminated from this world. 30 years ago, Nazis did not exist. They lost. And the Confederates lost too. But there is just a different energy around the Confederates. The South never, the Nazis were eliminated. You couldn't publicly be a Nazi anywhere in the world 30 years ago. The South never gave up the Confederacy, though. There's always been people flying the Confederate flag. It has a completely different energy around it. So personally, I think, I've been wondering what is the best symbol that we can unite behind, that we can display. And I think the upside down American flag and the Confederate flag is probably about as good as we're going to get. Huge fan of the It's Okay to Be White campaign. I think that should be brought back. maybe it's time to even start saying it's great to be white, right? But these are things, putting up stickers, that anyone can do. You can help aid the visibility of the symbolism. It's quick, it's easy, it's relatively safe compared to some of your other options of activism. So I encourage everyone, get your symbols out, be visible, let people know where you stand, and be ready to confront the evil demons who want you dead with an even more openly hostile and extreme attitude than they're willing to give you. Fight together or die, fellas. So that's what I've got for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you took away a few things. That's it. That's all I got. I'll catch you next week. Tune in. Check me out on YouTube. Check me out on Twitter. I am the Goob. And peace out, fellas. Oh. One more time. Peace out, fellas. God damn it.
Day up and chimping, they'll finna chimp out. Hip-hop and pimping, they'll shift you for clouds. Going to get triggered if nigger you shout. See how they always chimping out. Then Chudification said stop lying down. Don't let them kill you and take all your town. They'll slice your sister, then walk cause they brown. See how they always chipping out. Don't got much reason and a frontal cortex. Your mother is next. If you resist, you're racist. In California, they're welfaring around. See how they always chipping out. It ain't no colors that's defining use. We're all just fellas, we all get to blues. It ain't black versus white, we've been divided by Jews. Oy vey, they show us smarts and outs. Just see how they're cackle with glee. Your family trees, leaves grow, Negro. Now California's spreading around. See how they always, see how they always, see how they always